Some mistakes deserve forgiveness, but some actions, they deserve distance. Not because you're bitter, not because you're heartless, but because you finally love yourself enough to walk away. This isn't about punishing women, it's about protecting your peace. Because if you keep forgiving what destroys your self-respect, you're not healing, you're hiding. So today, we're cutting through the noise. These are 8 things no high-value man should ever forgive in a woman. Not out of ego, but out of dignity. Let's start with the first one, because it's the seed of every future disaster. 1. Public disrespect. It starts small. She interrupts you when you speak, rolls her eyes in front of your friends, mocks you in public, just to be funny. And most men, they laugh along, play it off, tell themselves it's not a big deal. But here's the truth. Public disrespect is the soft launch of deeper betrayal. Why? Because a woman who embarrasses you in public isn't emotional. She's testing your limits. She wants to see if she can chip away at your pride and still keep your attention. And if you let it slide once, she'll do it again. And again. Until one day, you don't even recognize the man in the mirror. Let me make this clear. A woman can disagree with you, challenge you, even argue with you in private. But when she starts trying to assert dominance in public, it's no longer about communication, it's about control. And brother, if she disrespects you openly and you stay, you just gave her permission to keep doing it. Don't raise your voice, don't threaten, don't explain. Just raise your standards, because once public disrespect becomes acceptable, love suffocates quietly. 2. Using your vulnerability against you. Every strong man has a soft side, and when you show her that side, you're not being weak. You're being real. You're saying, here's what hurt me. Here's what shaped me. Here's the part of me the world doesn't see. That's trust. That's intimacy. That's masculine courage. But if she ever turns that against you, if she throws your pain in your face during a fight, mocks your past, brings up your trauma to win arguments, that's not love, that's betrayal, and it cuts deeper than cheating, because now you're not just hurt, you're ashamed for trusting her. You start closing off, you stop sharing, and she calls you cold, distant, disconnected. But she's the one who broke the bridge. You were never the problem. She just wasn't mature enough to hold the weight of your truth. Real love protects your softness. Fake love weaponizes it. And the moment she crosses that line, forgiveness doesn't heal the wound. It just gives her another chance to cut deeper. 3. Lying repeatedly. One lie doesn't break a relationship, but repeated lies, they break reality. At first, it's subtle. I forgot to mention, it wasn't like that. You're overreacting. But every time you catch her, she flips it back on you. You're too sensitive. You just don't trust her. You're imagining things. And you start doubting yourself, not because you're wrong, but because she's manipulating the truth. That's not miscommunication. That's gaslighting. And the longer you stay, the more you start defending her lies, while ignoring your own instincts. A woman who lies over and over again doesn't respect your mind. She's not scared of losing you. She's counting on your loyalty to her potential, not her actions. But here's the truth. Love without honesty is just emotional anesthesia. It dulls the pain while the damage spreads. So don't fall for the apology. Don't get lost in the tears. If she lies to you consistently and still expects your trust, you're not in love anymore. You're in a performance. 4. Repeatedly breaking your trust. Betrayal doesn't always show up with fireworks. Sometimes it walks in quietly, with a familiar smile. She flirts with other men. It's just harmless fun. She hides conversations. You're just insecure. She disappears emotionally, but still expects your loyalty physically. And every time you forgive her, she doesn't feel grateful. She feels invincible. She learns you'll stay, no matter how many times she crosses the line. But that's not strength, brother. That's self-abandonment. Because a woman who truly respects you fears losing your trust more than she fears losing the relationship. But a woman who keeps breaking it, she's already gone. She's just waiting for you to finally catch up. You can't keep rebuilding something she keeps tearing down. 5. Disrespecting your purpose. This one, it cuts deeper than all the rest, because your purpose isn't a hobby, it's your backbone. It's what pulls you out of bed when life hits hard. It's what keeps you going when everything else falls apart. And when a woman mocks it, when she calls it stupid, when she rolls her eyes at your vision, when she tells you you're too focused or too ambitious, she's not just disrespecting your goals, she's disrespecting who you are. At first, it seems like she just wants more of your time, but what she's really saying is, stop growing, stop becoming. Because every time you level up, you remind her of how little she's moving. A woman who truly loves you, she won't compete with your mission. She'll protect it like it's hers. But the wrong woman, she'll sabotage it. Not with bombs, but with subtle words, quiet digs, passive resistance. And the second you start shrinking your dream to keep her happy, you're not her man anymore. You're her pet. Never, ever stay in a relationship where your ambition feels like a threat. Because once she stops respecting your purpose, she's already stopped respecting your potential. 6. Ruining your reputation behind your back. A woman can hurt your heart, and you'll recover. But when she poisons your name, that stain follows you everywhere. You're not just dealing with heartbreak. You're fighting rumors, lies, twisted stories that turn you from man to monster in the eyes of others. And worst of all, she's still smiling in your face, acting sweet, while destroying you socially behind the scenes. Let me say this straight. A woman who respects you protects your name, even in anger. If she starts venting to friends, painting you as the villain, sharing screenshots, twisting truths, that's not immaturity. That's character assassination. And here's what you need to know. You can recover from loss. But rebuilding trust with the world, that takes years. So when a woman sacrifices your name to protect her ego, you don't owe her a second chance. You owe yourself distance. 7. Making you compromise your values. This is one of the deadliest signs, because it doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, quietly. She starts with small challenges. Why are you being so uptight? Everyone else does it. Don't be so serious. And you think maybe she's right. You bend, you adjust, you ignore your gut, and one day you wake up and realize you've become a version of yourself you don't even respect. Listen closely, brother. A woman who loves your soul will never ask you to abandon it. But a woman who wants control, she'll keep testing how far she can push you. And here's the cold truth. The moment you betray your own values to keep her, she stops trusting you too. Because even she knows a man without a code can't lead. So when a woman starts dragging you away from your own principles, that's not love. That's manipulation disguised as intimacy. Walk away before your boundaries disappear completely. 8. Guilt-tripping you into submission. This is how your masculinity dies. Not in a fight, not in an argument, but in a slow, silent surrender to emotional control. She doesn't yell. She doesn't demand. She just uses guilt. You don't care about me anymore. You've changed. You never listened to me. Suddenly, you're apologizing for things you didn't do. You're fixing problems that don't exist. You're tiptoeing around someone who claims to love you, but keeps you on an emotional leash. Let me tell you something powerful. Love isn't supposed to confuse you. It's supposed to calm you. And if you constantly feel like the villain, even when your heart is in the right place, you're not in a relationship. You're in emotional captivity. And the more you try to please her, the less she respects you. Not because you're not enough, but because you're bending too much. A high-value man isn't afraid to walk away from guilt. He's not scared of silence because he knows. A woman who weaponizes emotion will never build peace. Let's end with the truth no one tells you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. But what you can't afford to do is keep forgiving the same disrespect from the same person over and over again. Forgiveness without change isn't growth, it's permission. You're not supposed to fix someone who keeps breaking you. You're supposed to recognize the pattern and rise above it. So don't be the man who keeps teaching the same lesson to someone who refuses to learn. Be the man who finally says, "That's enough." Because when you protect your peace, when you walk away with your standards intact, you don't need revenge. Your silence becomes the lesson. Your absence becomes the upgrade. If this hits something real, don't just scroll, follow, subscribe. Watch the next video. Because the next one, it'll teach you how to attract a woman who would never dare cross these lines. Stay focused, stay unshakable, and never, never apologize for protecting your peace.